नमस्कार. आयच्या डिबेटात तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार. आज एका इंटरेस्टिंग विशयाचेर आमी चर्चा करतात आनी तो विशय म्हळ्यार दुसऱ्या राष्ट्राचो पासपोर्ट घेवप म्हळ्यार कोणी इल्लो कमी देशभक्त जाता काय कितें. कित्याक लोक इतले जाण दुसऱ्या राष्ट्राचो पासपोर्ट घेवपा लागल्यात आनी ताजो गोंयचेर परिणाम कितें. हातूंत कांय स्टॅटिस्टिक्स बी आसा ताजेरूय आमी मागीर वचया. पूण सुरवातेक आयचे पावर पॅक्ट पॅनल हांव पयलीं इंट्रोड्यूस करता. सगळ्यांत पयलीं आसात आमचे बरोबर गोंयांतले नामनेचे आदवोगाद राजकीय विश्लेशक राधाराव ग्रासियस. राधाराव वेलकम. दुसरे आसात विरो जांचें नांव गोंयभर हरशीक आसता पण सद्याक पासपोर्टाच्या इश्यू लागून गाजपा लागला ते गोंयांतले नामनेचे आदवोगाद एक्टिविस्ट आयरिश बाब रॉड्रिक्स. आयरिश बाब वेलकम. आनी तिसरे आसात म्हणजे भारतीय जनता पक्षाचे फुडारी आनी स्पोक्सपर्सन गिरिराज पै वेर्णेकार. राधाबाब सुरवात तुमचे कडच्यान करता कारण देर इज अ इंटरेस्टिंग स्टॅटिस्टिक्स दॅट सेज की ऑलमोस्ट 70,000 भारतीयांनी आपलो पासपोर्ट सरेंडर केला आनी तातूंतले 40% गोंयकार आसात. 40% गोवन्स. अशें कितें जाता की गोंयकार पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करतात आनी पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करप दुसऱ्या राष्ट्राचो पासपोर्ट घेवप डू यू थिंक दॅट रिफ्लेक्ट्स ऑन एन इंडिविज्युअल्स पेट्रियटिझम?
See, why Goans surrender is because Goans have easy access to Portuguese passport. That is why the number of Goans is much more than the number of countrymen from elsewhere. Now, for an Indian to get a foreign citizenship, it's a very difficult task. But Goa is on a different footing altogether. Therefore, more Goans tend to go out. Now, among Indians who go out, non-Goan Indians.
Yeah.
They are easily and mostly the highly qualified people. Whereas Goa, any Goan can simply make a Portuguese passport and walk away. And almost everybody goes for purpose of economic reasons, for earnings. But I would like to point out something. You see, Goa is in a unique position in the sense that it became part of India only in 1961, some 15 years after independence. Therefore, we have become citizens by a different process. You see, when India took over or liberated or annexed Goa, we were Portuguese citizens. Now, somehow or the other, the Portuguese government continues to recognize us till now as their citizens. They recognize Goans born prior to 1961 as Portuguese citizens. Now, whereas after liberation, there's an order dated 28th March, I think, 2003, called the Goa Daman and Diu Citizenship Order, by which citizenship was conferred on all those who are Goans or whose ancestors were Goans. Now, in this bargain, what happened? That citizenship order also says that those who do not want to be Indians, they have to opt within 30 days. Now, if you look at Article 9 of our Constitution, it says whoever voluntarily gives up the citizenship of India loses the Indian citizenship. And that is where the difference lies. You see, Goans are Portuguese nationals by virtue of their birth. Portugal recognizes them as Portuguese nationals. So, and as on December 20th, we were Portuguese nationals. So we have become citizens only by virtue of that citizenship order. So when we do not give up, we do not voluntarily give up Indian citizenship when we apply for Portuguese passport. You see, I am making that distinction. The law says you have to voluntarily give up. That means I have first to obtain citizenship of another country, because no other country gives you citizenship like that. Now, in the case of Portugal, what happens? Since it recognizes that all those born in their territories are Portuguese citizens, all that we do is transcribe our name in the central registry of Portugal. We do not register our births there. There cannot be registration twice. Even Indians born abroad, when they return here, there is a provision, section 20 or 22 of the Indian Registration of Births Act, where the children's births are transcribed here. So there's a description between transcription and registration. So Goans who are already citizens of Portugal, they obtain a Portuguese passport. Now the question is, have we voluntarily given up the citizenship of India? No, because we are already citizens there. So we only obtain a passport. To voluntarily give up, you have to give up by obtaining a foreign citizenship after this law came into force. But we have not obtained foreign citizenship. It was already there.
Okay, you are making a very interesting distinction. आम्ही ताजेर या, and I'll go to Irish Bab in the end. I'll go to Giriraj Bab. गिरिराज बाब, तुम्ही या विशयाकडेन कशें पळयतात? नंबर वन, एक पोर्तुगीज पासपोर्ट घेवप किंवा खंयच्याय दुसऱ्या राष्ट्राचो पासपोर्ट घेवप, हाव डज इट रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन एन इंडिविज्युअल? आणि इतली लोक जेन्ना सांगतात की आमकां आतां ऑलमोस्ट 40% इन अ वन डिकेड आउट ऑफ द 70,000 40% आर गोवन्स. सो इतली गोंयकाराक आज भायर वचपाची गरज कित्याक पडटा?
नाही, म्हाका दिसता वी हॅव टू सी दिस इशू इन अ लार्जर कॉन्टेक्स्ट. म्हणजे जेन्ना तो न्यूज आयली की 40% ऑफ दोज रिलिंग्विशिंग पासपोर्ट्स आर इंडियन्स, आय थिंक इट इज ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट दोज पीपल ज्यांनी इंडियन आपली सरेंडर केल्या. म्हणजे फॉर सम एक्झाम्पल, somebody who has renounced his citizenship at any of the embassy, it does not cover.
Yeah, it does not cover. Yes.
And that 40% is significantly high because most Goans who take a Portuguese passport, they give up their citizenship in India before they travel to Portugal. So तो एक असा. दुसरो, by default म्हणजे Indians living abroad, whether they take citizenship, I think is not that big a issue because Indian diaspora is one of our strongest pillar as far as our soft power is concerned. आणि दुसरं कशें आसा न्ही, म्हणजे म्हाका दिसता इट हॅज टू बी ऑल्सो सीन की मोस्ट ऑफ द टायम्स वेन पीपल शिफ्ट देअर बेज, इट इज इन कितें म्हणटा ते फॉर बेटर ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज. आतां फॉर एक्झाम्पल आमी जेन्ना अर्बनायझेशन म्हणटा, कोण तरी गांवांतलो शहरान येता, इट इज नॉट बिकॉज ही डज नॉट लव हिज विलेज, बट ही वॉन्ट्स बेटर ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज इन द सिटी. तशेंच म्हणजे आमी जर पळयशात की आमचे जे इंडियन्स आसा देशा भायर, दे आर अवर बिगस्ट कंट्रिब्युटर टू फॉरेक्स रिझर्व्स. म्हणजे आज इंडियेचो जो फॉरेक्स रिझर्व आसा ताजो वन ऑफ द मेजर कंट्रिब्युटर्स आर दीज एक्सपेक्ट्स. आणि दुसरो एक म्हणजे जो भंय तयार करपाचो आसा न्ही की सगळे लोक चल्ले, म्हाका दिसता वी ऑल्सो हॅव टू सी इट फ्रॉम अ पर्स्पेक्टीव ऑफ नंबर एज टू पॉप्युलेशन. आणि when that comes, I think it amounts to some 0.027 as far as India is concerned. आणि अनेक न्यूज जी म्हाका दिसता somehow went unnoticed is की there was another report which said की after Brexit the number of Goans applying for Portuguese passport has significantly come down. So म्हाका दिसता it is largely for better opportunities that people leave. So it should not be seen as lack of opportunities here or lack of love. I think it is only for better opportunities and that is my opinion.
Yeah, Irish Bab, तुमचे कडेन येता स्ट्रेट अवे. तुमकां कित्याक दिसलें तातूंत तुमचे सारके व्यक्तीक कित्याक दिसलें की पासपोर्ट घेवचो? आनी दुसरे इतली लोक जे घेतात तांकां पळयतगीर तुमकां जी मेन कारणां कितें दिसतात? फक्त पोटा पाण्या खातीर जशें गिरिराज बाब म्हणटा?
See, Pramod Bab, whereas my case is concerned, if I can briefly give you the background, that over the last few years, there has been a dispute that I'm not an Indian national, that I'm a Portuguese national. So the inquiry was conducted by the North Goa collector, that is in 2020. And she gave an interim report saying that I had ceased to be an Indian. I challenged that report before the Honorable High Court. The Honorable High Court stayed the order of the collector and the matter went on for almost over 2 years before the Honorable High Court. This year in February, the Honorable High Court disposed my petition directing the central government to give me a thorough inquiry and to decide all the issues. So there was nothing coming from the central government. So I decided, how long will I wait? Because if the central government takes another 2 years to decide this issue, then the matter would go before the Honorable High Court again, then it would travel to the Supreme Court. So I would be stuck in litigation for almost maybe the next 10 years. So after consulting some of my lawyer friends, I decided, because I made it very clear that I have never applied for Portuguese citizenship. So my colleagues felt also that I should go to Lisbon, meet the authorities there and check the ground reality. So accordingly, in May, I traveled to Lisbon. I met with all the concerned officers and they confirmed to me that my birth was registered there. Now, they could not tell me who registered the birth. So their guess was that maybe my parents, before they passed away, decided to register my birth. So anyway, they said, and I also confirmed with them, they said that it was not a bogus registration, it was a valid registration, and that I am entitled to a Portuguese passport. So I waited for a day, I thought over it, and the next day I went and opted. I said, okay, I'll opt for the Portuguese passport. So accordingly, the following day they issued me the passport. Before the passport, they issued me a citizenship identity card, and the next day the passport was ready. So I decided two things, that this would put this issue to rest once and for all. The other thing that, as far as I'm concerned, it would affect me only in three ways. That I would lose my right to vote, I would lose my right to contest elections, and that I would not be entitled to buy any agricultural land. So all these three things were inconsequential to me in the current circumstances. So I decided to, as it was not going to affect me except these three issues, so I opted. Then I came back. This very same day that I arrived, I surrendered my Indian passport, surrendered my election card, I complied with everything that the government requires, and now my OCI application is pending. So I thought over it, and this was my personal decision, because I always in life have had a mind of my own. I cannot be influenced by anyone. I decided that I'll take a call on it, because at this age. And the other thing that I felt was proper, because this time by applying for the visa, it was so tedious, because I had to apply for a UK visa and then also a Schengen visa. So now with a Portuguese passport, I can travel to 186 countries without a visa. So I'm in the sunset of my life. So I said that also weighed in my mind, so that I've got friends all over the world, all over the Gulf.
And
so
you
now
want to
there will be
travel?
no issue traveling.
Okay. Radha, but that brings me to that whole basic thing. Are you restricting this whole debate to लोक पोटा पाण्या खातीर वतात? कारण देर कॅन बी एन आर्ग्युमेंट दॅट आनीक कितलेशेच लोक वतात जे आपलो पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करनासतना वतात.
See what happens, Pramod. So if you look at Goa, and when we talk of Goans who have migrated, to be quite honest, it is largely the Goan Catholic community that goes. That we all know. Probably 95% of those who have surrendered passports are Goan Catholics. Now if you look at the history, much before the liberation, Goans have been migrated in thousands to East Africa. They were migrating to West Asia. Migration is part of the Goan Catholic parampara, as I may say. So it is not something new. But there is the difference has arisen now. People, and mind you, from Goa, they were migrating in big numbers to British India. There was big Goan community in Bombay or in Karachi. So Goans are habituated to migrations. So what has happened now is that earlier Goans would go to Bombay, work in Karachi, but they would still be allowed back here as Portuguese nationals. Same thing happened in East Africa. People worked there but did not lose their citizenship. People worked in West Asia, did not lose their citizenship. But now what is happening because of these complications of dual nationality, are people who have been habitually migrating are forced to give up their Indian citizenship. So it is not that they want to go because of job or anything. They are habituated, but they are now, because of change of laws, forced to give up their citizenship. You see, way back in 1908, there was a Goan member of the British Parliament, Ernest Suarez.
Yeah.
Then in 1987, Keith Vaz became. Right now, there are 3 Goan ladies in the British Parliament. There is Claire Coutin, there is Suella Fernandes, there is Valerie Vaz. There is a member of the Australian Parliament, Zenith Mascarenhas. So it shows that the Goan community has been migrating and has integrated with the local communities. But of course, all of them would have loved to continue to come to Goa as in the
At
past.
that point, I'll go to Irish Bab before I go to Giriraj. Irish Bab, you would have loved to continue, keep your Indian passport, given an option?
No, see, because as we stand today, the law does not allow dual nationality. But I can see...
option आशिल्लें जाल्यार तुमकां आवडटाशिल्लें काय म्हणटा?
Of course, because I was born a Goan, I believed a Goan and will always be a Goan. Now, I have to comply with the law. But I can tell you one thing, Pramod. After speaking to my friends across the world, I feel that one day or the other, in the near future, the dual nationality may be a reality because it's not only the Goan, the entire Gujarati community, the entire Punjabi community, the NRIs in Kerala too, all over the country. So this affects the whole nation. So the world is evolving as a global village. And I'm sure the Honorable Prime Minister will give thought to this, the pros and cons, and will decide on this issue, because this is a demand from the entire world, Indians across the world. So this issue needs to be attended and addressed by the government.
Yeah, Radha.
Pramod, just one thing. See, one thing I can say, Irish has only given up the white and the green on the national flag. The saffron is still there, man.
On that note, I'll go to Giriraj. Giriraj, was the dual nationalityचा इश्यू असा आणि म्हाका दिसता मोर ऑर लेस इवन यू आर अग्रीइंग की आमची गोंयकार जेन्ना पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करतात आणि दुसऱ्या देशाचो पासपोर्ट घेतात तो पोटा पाण्या खातीर घेतात. बाकीच्या राज्यांनी हे गजाली वाडपाक लागल्यात, ते मागीर गुजराती आसूं पंजाबी आसूं खूब वाडपाक लागल्यात. डू यू थिंक सुनर देन लेटर ही ड्युअल सिटीजनशिपाची कॉन्सेप्ट जो आसा तो हळूहळू आमचे पार्लमेंट सुद्धा आपणावपाच्या दृश्टीन विचार करतले आणि करप गरजेचो.
नाही, म्हाका दिसता दोन गजाली आसा. एक म्हणजे ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप जितली बरी दिसता तितलेच देर आर लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज दॅट इमर्ज, आणि वन ऑफ द बिगस्ट वन बींग you get either text or you can, the legal complications can be very different. Dusre, there is a very interesting statistics that between 2005 and 2018 more than 35,000 Americans gave up their American passport where there is dual citizenship. So just because there is dual citizenship किंवा विथ दॅट होप आम्ही हे करतले, आय थिंक दॅट इज अ व्हेरी कन्व्हिनियंट आर्ग्युमेंट. म्हणजे आता आयरिश बाब ज्या तरेन पॅशनेटली सांगता की ही डजंट गेट इन्फ्लुएन्स्ड, बट ॲट द सेम टायम ही सेज की ही गॉट इन्फ्लुएन्स बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्क्वायरी दॅट वॉज इनिशिएटेड. आता तातूंत दोन तीन गजाली आसा. एक म्हणजे एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया, no rights because of that inquiry were held back from him, किंवा there was no right that was taken away from him. इतलेच न्हय तर म्हाका तरी दिसता म्हणजे रिसेंटली म्हणजे ही वॉज कन्विक्टेड फॉर 1 year imprisonment फॉर आउटरीचिंग मॉडेस्टी. आणि सो वेदर इट इज हीज लॅक ऑफ फेथ इन द ज्युडिशरी वेर ही सेड की 10 वर्सां लागतली, इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट? पण तातूंतय म्हाका दिसता आयरिश बाबाक सांगनचें की वी डू हॅव अ एक्स्ट्रॅडिशन ट्रिटी विथ पोर्तुगल, सो इफ ही इज लुकिंग ॲट समथिंग लायक दॅट देन इट विल नॉट हॅपन.
I'll allow Irish Bob to respond to that.
To worry about that.
I'll allow Irish Bob to respond to that.
The order of the magistrate has been stayed by
the magistrate himself had suspended it for 6 months.
No. It has been stayed by the Sessions Court. The matter is going on, and there is no need of extradition. Okay, I will comply with the law, whatever has to be done. So don't try to mix these things, Giriraj. Because
exactly that is exactly what Irish Bob. That is exactly
as an officer of the court, I need to lead by example.
Yeah,
I will never violate any law.
By giving up Indian citizenship, you are not leading by example from any angle. And dusre,
that is my personal
let us
choice.
not.
I said, Giriraj,
you are
it is my
exactly.
personal choice.
So do not try and tell me.
Personal choice.
You do not try and tell me that you let the issue to rest. What I am trying to say is you have done it for your own personal reasons.
आयरिश बाब म्हाका एक गजाल तो जो म्हणटा की जो गिरिराजान इशू काडलो की at what point of time you thought that you have made up your mind to give up citizenship of India?
No. When I saw that my registration there was legal, that I was entitled to a Portuguese passport, that is the following day that I took a decision. And I took a decision after a deep thought. Okay, it was not an instant decision. So I weighed everything, okay, and I said I will go for it, because I didn't want to get stuck in this litigation for a decade and over a decade.
And you confident that it in no way reflects on your patriotism?
Of course not. Of course not. I have said and I say it again. I am born a Goan and will remain a Goan for the rest of my life.
Pramod, see, these people going out also does create a problem back here. Fortunately, we Goans are not creating such problems. Tomorrow, there is a big convention called in Canada by the Punjabis demanding Khalistan. Now, these are also Indians, mind you, who have migrated. once they migrate, they all gang up together, then they have other ideas.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, and earlier also, the government of India has also protested. So this sort of things also happen. But I am proud that the Goan community, wherever they may be, they integrate with the local communities and live peacefully.
या आणि वी लीड बाय एक्झाम्पल म्हणतात.
Yes.
गिरिराज बाब, एक जो इश्यू येता हातूंत भितर आनी तो म्हळ्यार ड्युअल सिटीजनशिपाचो. हांव परत त्या मुद्द्याचेर वता. डू यू थिंक जशे दीस वतात, ओके, वी डीड नॉट एनविसाज इट बिफोर. डू यू थिंक इट्स हाय टायम वी एनविसाज इट नाव? बिकॉज एक गजाल आमकां मोर ऑर लेस खबर आहा, जशें आयरिश बाबांनी म्हळें की इट हॅज नथिंग टू डू विथ हिज पेट्रियटिझम, इट हॅज नथिंग टू डू विथ हिज लव फॉर हिज कंट्री. देर आर अदर रिजन्स. इट्स अ मॅटर ऑफ कन्विनियन्स ऑल्सो. बाकीच्या देशां भितर ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप आसा, आमच्याय देशांत ताजेर विचार करपाची गरज आसा अशें तुमकां दिसता काय कितें?
नाही, म्हाका दिसता विचार हो आसा, बट एज आय सेड, एक म्हणजे कॉन्स्टिट्युशनली इट इज नॉट परमिटेड रायट नाव.
या रायट.
आणि एट द सेम टाइम ताजे जे लिगल रिपरकशन्स आसा, म्हणजे आज फॉर एक्झाम्पल लॉट ऑफ टायम्स वी सी दॅट NRIs आर फेसिंग सो मेनी इश्यूज बिकॉज ऑफ नंबर ऑफ डेज. म्हणजे आता 180 days आसा, हाऊ डू यू कॅल्क्युलेट दॅट, हाऊ डू यू कॅल्क्युलेट युअर विजा. सो हातून जेन्ना जाता पळय, म्हणून हांवें तुमकां सांगलें तशें की ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप आसतना सुद्दां जर 35,000 लोक अमेरिकन पासपोर्ट दिता, विच इज बाय फार बिलीव टू बी द मोस्ट पॉवरफुल पासपोर्ट, जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता देर इज अ लार्जर की डिबेट विच इज रिक्वायर्ड ऑन द ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप. आय अग्री दॅट सेंटिमेंट इज देर. आणि हांव परत सांगता, म्हणजे कितें जाता न्हय, आमी खुबदां आमचो जो डायस्पोरा आसा न्हय, गोंयानूच आमी मुद्दम पळया, जर मोदी 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 करून अमेरिकेन केलो, हेच थोडे लोक म्हणटा आमच्या गोंयान बसून की हांकां कितें अधिकार आहात आनी सोडला. पण तेच जर पुर्तुगालाक बसून कोणें जर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीक हांगा गोंयान सपोर्ट केलो, ते म्हणटा अरे ते गोंयकार. सो म्हाका दिसता हो डबल स्टँडर्ड जे आसा ते आसचे न्हय. ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप नीड्स अ लार्जर डिबेट, पण फक्त ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप करून हे प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व जावचे ना. जशें हांवें म्हणलें की आयरिश बाबान जो पासपोर्ट घेतलो, दॅट वॉज हिज पर्सनल चॉयस अँड इट हॅड नथिंग टू डू विथ दीस इन्क्वायरी दॅट इज ट्रायंग टू पुट द ब्लेम ऑन.
आयरिश बाब, तुमकां दिसता की कंट्री नीड्स टू सिरियसली थिंक अबाउट ड्युअल सिटीजनशीप, डिबेट सुरू जावपाक जाय, डिस्कशन सुरू जावपाक जाय, और यू आर फिलिंग दॅट द एक्झिस्टिंग सिस्टम इज ओके, द वे यू आर मेड युअर पर्सनल चॉईस, इट इज देअर विथ एव्हरी सिटीजन अँड दे आर फ्री टू डू सो?
No, Pramod, as I said, there is a debate within the Indian community across the world that about the need for dual
Citizenship.
Citizenship, and I'm sure this is an issue which possibly the central, because the law would have to be amended, and possibly the central government is seized of this issue because the Honorable Prime Minister, through his trips across the world, must have heard the demand of the Indians across the world that on the need for dual citizenship, and I'm sure this issue, one way or the other, will be decided by the government in the near future. Because if there is such a demand from Indians across the world about the need for dual citizenship, the government needs to consider it one way or the other, or decide that we will not go for dual.
Give it a finality म्हणटा
Yes, yes. It cannot remain pending.
या राधाबा, फायनल तुमकां दिसता की इट इज हाय टायम दॅट कंट्री गोज फॉर दीस, और तुमकां दिसता की चल सद्याच्या परिस्थिती भितर गोंयकारा कडेन ऑप्शन आसा, देशा कडेन ऑप्शन आसा, the present system can take care of the issues as of now?
See, what happens is, for all that matters, we have sort of dual citizenship now. See, the OCI, except for the right to vote, right to contest elections, right to buy non-agricultural land, and a few other things, gives you all the citizens, all the rights. So obviously, we have taken a few steps towards full-fledged dual citizenship. But, I would have expected my friend Irish to have stood up and fought the government, saying that, look here, see my case, I'll tell you. I was born in pre-liberation Goa. So under the Portuguese law, I am their national now. I have not registered or transcribed my birth there. But Portugal considers me as their citizen. There's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing. Under their law, I am their citizen. So what can anyone do to me because they consider me as their citizen? So that is why my whole argument is the law has provided dual nationality. Under our constitution, I am an Indian citizen. Under Portuguese law, I am a citizen of that country. They acknowledge it. So where is the question of not having dual nationality? I wish Irish were to take up this point at the highest court and argue that, yes, Sir, I was born prior to 1961. Portugal considers me as their citizen, and I can't do anything about it. I think that should have satisfied.
हरीश बाब, आय गिव यू दॅट फायनल वर्ड की राधा बाबाक दिसता की तुम्ही आनी इल्ले झगडपा जाय आशिल्ले. कितें जालें आतां इल्लें वय बी जातकीर खूब झगडलो, खूब देमात केले, आतां आनी नाका अशें बी दिसपा लागलां.
Maybe you are right, Pramod, because I have had a very long innings
Yeah.
because I started my public life quite early
Yes.
as a student.
Yes.
So maybe let this issue be fought by somebody else. I had to decide and I had to take a personal call which I have taken, keeping
आयरिश बाब
My
मातसो
interest
रिटायरमेंट झोनाक गेला.
not retirement zone. I've yet a lot to contribute towards Goa, my land, which will always remain my land.
Yeah.
So I have my own plans, my own ideas as to how I can work. More better.
झगडपाचे आनी कोणाक पयलीं म्हणटात.
Yes, yes. I will work for Goa and India, which was my country.
झगड नासतना.
No. We have to do something positive.
पॉझिटिव्ह.
And
ओके.
yes.
हांव इतल्याचेर थांबता. विशय म्हाका दिसता कायदेशीर आसा, टेक्निकल आसा, पण म्हाका दिसता सेंटिमेंट सगळ्यांचो सेम आसा. आनी अल्टिमेटली जेन्ना आमी कायद्याची भाशा उलयतात तेन्ना जर त्या कायद्या भितर जर जनतेचो सेंटिमेंट नासलो जाल्यार खूब फावटी कायदो कोणा खातीर असो प्रश्न उप्रासता. ती भावना सगळ्या कडेन पावची आनी तातूंतल्यान मुखार मार्ग येवचो ह्याच उद्देशान आमी ही डिबेट केल्ली. गिरिराज बाब, आयरिश बाब, राधा बाब, थँक्स अ लॉट फॉर पार्टिसिपेटींग. पळयत रावात प्रुडंट. नमस्कार.